Welcome into another video in the series where we're going through and testing every single weapon inside of Modern Warfare 3 to see how viable these weapons are for you to be using inside of your Modern Warfare 3 Zombies game. This is going to include the aftermarket parts, the aftermarket conversion kits, as well as the MW2 weapons. So if you guys are new around here and like to see how weapons perform inside of Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, make sure you're subscribed, turn on those bell notifications so you're not going to miss out any future uploads from myself on Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. As well, down below in the description you will find the link for my streams. I stream on Mondays and Thursdays, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I stream a ton of custom zombies and other zombie-related games, and I'd just be absolutely honored to have you guys come and hang out over there. Now, with Black Ops 6 fast approaching around the corner, I am beyond excited to be able to bring you guys some content for Black Ops 6. I'm super excited and going to be working super hard to bring you guys just awesome, amazing content for Black Ops 6 for sure. I do need to thank each and every one of you guys for just the insane growth on this channel. We've seen over 300% increase in views over the last month. It is absolutely mind-blowing. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Now, we've got Season 4 Reloaded on the horizon, and for Zombies, we have Unstable Rifts coming, which is going to be some sort of round-based objective. I'm super excited for that. I'm also wondering if there's a possibility we might see the wallet added into Modern Warfare 3 Zombies for Season 4 Reloaded. Let me know your comments on that down below. I'd love to find out what you guys think about that. Now, as far as today's videos goes, this goes to something I truly enjoy doing, and this is another weapon suggestion from you guys down in the comment section below. And this one was regarding the BP50 assault rifle with the aftermarket conversion kit Jak Revenger. And when this launched, this thing was just absolutely a shredder inside of Tier 3. It destroyed absolutely everything. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the BP50 with the aftermarket Jak Revenger kit on it, and we're going to be taking it through all three tiers, taking on bounty contracts all the way through to see just how well this weapon performs for you inside of your Modern Warfare 3 Zombies game. So by the end of today's video, you should have a really good feel for how this weapon performs inside of Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, and whether or not this weapon is going to be a viable choice for you to be using inside of your Modern Warfare 3 Zombies games. So without further ado, let's get to the BP50 review video today. Alright, welcome into today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I truly do appreciate that. So we're going to be looking at the BP50 assault rifle today with the aftermarket conversion equipped to it. And the reason we're doing this video is it was a suggestion down in the comments, as well as that had received a pretty substantial nerf for Season 4, and this was one of my favorite weapons in aftermarket conversion kits when they introduced it to the game. So for today's video, I was super excited to get in and just see how the BP50 feels inside of Modern Warfare 3 Zombies right now after the nerf. Is it going to still be a viable weapon for us to use? So on all of these weapon review videos, when I spawn in, it is all of the perks and no additions to the weapon to make it any stronger, white rarity, no pack-a-punch, and no ammo mods on there at all. And for today's run, I did have my ether blade as well, which I brought in for an extra, and we do have mags of holding to test for later on. Now, our first bounty of the day was a mimic, and I could already tell that I had noticed, definitely right off the hop, I felt the nerf on the BP50 for sure. I mean, when this weapon dropped, it was just shredding absolutely everything for sure. So to see that it was definitely nerfed, I felt it on the first bounty contract instead of Tier 1. I did also was having an issue with some of the ammo without it being pack-a-punch, so just a heads up for that. But I did notice that it was definitely something that is like viable to be using on these bounty contracts in Tier 1. I didn't feel like I was too much of a bullet sponge, but I was noticing the nerf for sure. It definitely wasn't as strong as it used to be. So the next thing to do was to go and visit our pack-a-punch machine, melee the machine so we can keep the beautiful one-trick camo on there and the blue pin I'm running, as I think it's a wonderful combination. So now we are pack 1, white rarity, no ammo mods, and no tools to the weapon at all. And I wanted to grab another bounty contract inside of Tier 1, in that we are now only pack-a-punched 1, white rarity. I wanted to see, you know, just what this BP50 with the aftermarket conversion kit can do to a bounty contract inside of Tier 1 with the nerf that they introduced to it. and I was pretty impressed. It's definitely not as strong as it used to be, that's for sure, but I mean, you can see the critical damage on the Mimic's health bar right there is definitely some decent damage for sure with this weapon. So even though it has been nerfed, I am feeling that this is definitely something that is viable to be using. It's one of the weapons I enjoy using for sure. It's just, I enjoy the look and the feel of the BP50 for sure. So we threw on the legendary tool, we threw on Napalm Burst. We're now pack 1 legendary with Napalm inside of tier 1, grabbing our third tier 1 bounty contract of the day. And as you know, if you've been following along the series, I expect this bounty contract to basically be an instant delete inside of tier 1, which would show, you know, promise going forward into the higher threat levels. And I was not disappointed. It's definitely not as fast as the BP50 used to eliminate a tier 1 bounty contract, legendary at pack 1 inside of tier 1 for sure. So like I said a bunch of times, I definitely felt the nerf. I wanted to show you guys this. The mercs were definitely not pleased that I just kind of ran in there and completely ignored them and grabbed my bounty contract. Almost died in the process, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. So we picked up our first bounty contract inside of tier 2. We are pack 1 legendary with Napalm, and we have another Mimic to take on, which I kind of enjoy showing you guys the same bounty over and over, so you guys can see how the weapon progresses as we, you know, increase its damage throughout the match. And you can see the critical damage that was coming off the Mimic here inside of tier 2, being pack 1, not pack 2. Was definitely decent for sure. It's not going to be super overpowered, but this is definitely something that is decent to use. I mean, you can see how that health bar on the Mimic was definitely going down there at a pretty rapid rate for sure, being only Pack-a-Punch 1 inside of tier 2. So definitely something that I feel is viable for you guys to be using is this BP50 for sure. We'll have to see how it performs later in the video as we push up the damage on the BP50 and increase, you know, the difficulty in the bounty contracts that we're grabbing. But I did want to grab another bounty contract here at only pack 1 inside of tier 2 so that I could just show you the difference. I was hoping for a bit of a different bounty contract, but we got another Mimic, and you can already see just how viable this is. Only Pack-a-Punch 1 inside of tier 2. Yes, it takes about 2 magazines, just under 2 magazines to take out a bounty contract inside of tier 2 at pack 1, but that's not horrible for sure. I mean, that is definitely not the worst that you could do for sure. So definitely something viable you could be running inside of tier 2. I feel epic is needed on this with the nerf or above, and I feel like you guys should be doing just fine. So the next thing to do was to head off to Pack-a-Punch inside of tier 2 to increase the damage output on our BP50 to Pack-a-Punch level 2. Now we got that, and next thing to do was go and test it against a bounty contract inside of tier 2 and see, you know, just what the difference is going from pack 1 to pack 2. The mercs were still here. I grabbed another contract from them. They're still not pleased with me at all. But one of my favorite things to do in game is run into the mercs, you know, camp and just grab your bounty contract or run right out while they're firing all at you. It's just super fun. I find that really entertaining. And here's our Mimic, another one for a bounty contract. This is inside of tier 2. We're Pack-a-Punch 2 with legendary and Napalm, and I was able to finish that bounty contract in less than a magazine, so that is definitely awesome to see. Now I wanted to grab a second bounty contract inside of tier 2, being Pack-a-Punch 2 this time, and see if we can get ourselves something other than a Mimic so that I can show you that. And we got a Mangler, so thank goodness I got something different. That was awesome to see. So we came over here to our Mangler, and you can see, like, we're almost halfway done his health. I just, like, bull rushed the Mangler, and he was gone. So definitely viable for you guys to be running inside of tier 2 at epic or legendary pack 2. You will be making easy work of tier 2 for sure. So the next thing to do is to throw on the Pack-a-Punch 3 crystal I bring in with me every single game, and go ahead and ping our Wonder Fizz machine, and then, you know, float our way into tier 3, grab the rest of our perks before we venture into tier 3, seeing what this BP50 can do with the aftermarket conversion kit. With the nerf that was introduced for Season 4 to the BP50 and the aftermarket conversion kit, I was really intrigued as when this weapon dropped. Like I said, it was one of my favorite weapons to use for sure. So let's see how does this perform inside of tier 3, crowd control without using mags of holding at legendary pack 3 with Napalm Burst, and it definitely doesn't disappoint at all. For sure. I mean, you can see that one HVT Mimic is gone, the second one is gone, We've got all the zombies, a horde, dogs, and armored and sprinters coming at us, and the BP50 with the aftermarket conversion kit definitely made fairly easy work of that for sure. Definitely viable for crowd control without using mags of holding. Definitely. I wasn't really too concerned in that situation there at all for sure. And you can see tier 3 was very busy. Lots of other players around for sure. I was able to grab a bounty contract, which was awesome to see. It was a disciple. Yay. I absolutely dread disciples, only because they're annoying, not because they're challenging or because they're hard or anything like that, but just because they're annoying with the amount of other zombies they can summon, how they can heal off of you, just overall annoyance. However, the BP50 inside of tier 3 at max damage definitely was doing some awesome and decent work to the disciple bounty contract for sure. I definitely wasn't feeling like I was underpowered for the situation. And here I was stuck in a disciple sandwich. I wasn't having any of that, so it was time to head out and get out of that situation, get some space so I can isolate my disciple bounty contract to show you guys just how strong this BP50 is with the nerf against the disciple bounty inside of tier 3. And you can see the critical damage I'm doing to the health bar on my bounty disciple is decent, and you can see to the standard disciple HVT inside of tier 3, it definitely was able to melt for sure. So good to see that this BP50 can still be a viable option for you to be using inside of tier 3. I was struggling a little bit right here inside of tier 3. I think you guys know if you don't bring in golden armor plates, it can be a challenge to can maintain your armor plate level inside of tier 3 for sure. And I was definitely struggling with that this run. For sure. I'm not going to lie to you guys. That's definitely something that's been a struggle. If you don't have golden armor plates, it's just a constant struggle to find plates in tier 3 and to keep them on you. But we had a Mega Abomination join in the fight. We had a Mimic HVT, another one come in and grab me. There was literally everything coming at me right here in this area. And like I said in previous videos, this area inside of tier 3 is very busy. Typically you get a Mega Abomination that spawns in underneath the bridge. As you can see here, he was chasing me, and he was hungry hippo, trying to get a chunk out of me. He got a piece out of me. I was climbing up the ladder. I thought I was going to disconnect, honestly, right here. What is that? Holy smokes, I was worried about the lag right there for sure. So the lag seemed to calm down, so I figured I'd drop back down. Let's get engaged. Let's finish off our bounty contract. I jumped up there. That was not going to happen with the amount of riffraff and everything that was coming at me. I couldn't deal with what that was. I was getting healed off one disciple, healed off another, lasered from our Mega Abomination, smacked my zombies in the area. Yep, for sure, that's a recipe for a down. Not a big deal. We picked up a self-revive early in our run, so just get back on our feet and get back into the fight is what we do. So I wanted to get some separation for myself so I can reload, get some plates on. We're going to re-engage our Mega Abomination there for a second. I noticed he went off to the other player in the area, which was awesome. Gave me a second to deal with the disciples that were in the area. And if you've noticed, we've seen 4 of them now. My bounty contract disciple and 3 other standard HVT disciples that showed up in the area. We had a player show up, and I believe he was helping me with my bounty contract, which was awesome to see. So we finished off that disciple and finishing this bounty contract, completed and killed the other disciple that was in the air. So that was awesome. So the next thing to do was to throw on mags of holding and see how the BP50 with the aftermarket conversion kit performs inside of tier 3 with a bounty contract, this time using mags of holding. In an effort to constantly be showing you guys, I feel, quality reviews of all weapons inside of Modern Warfare 3 Zombies across all 3 tiers. We're going to be doing this bounty contract with mags of holding. We've done one in this video without mags of holding, so I definitely appreciate the feedback that has been sent to me on the channel regarding the videos, the quality of the videos, and just kind of how in-depth I do my reviews for weapons. Now, this situation was very no bueno. If you guys have ever been in this situation and you have a circuit turret board and you're inside of tier 3 and you find a circuit turret, take advantage of it, and let me show you why. These circuit turrets are super overpowered. I wanted to take a moment here with these 2 Mega Abominations to show you guys just how insane these circuit turrets are for you to be using inside of tier 3. It is absolutely insane. The turret's focusing on the HVT Mega Abomination. Our bounty Mega Abomination fired up his laser attack at a player, I believe, and took out the standard Mega Abomination with his laser attack, which was truly awesome to see. And then Circuit Turret lasered my bounty contract down to absolutely nothing. So if you guys are stuck in a really sticky situation inside of tier 3, see if there's a circuit turret near you. If you have a circuit turret board, go ahead and put that in, and you'll be able to you know, make easy work of just literally everything around you. Just so you guys know, the circuit turrets inside of Tier 3 are definitely awesome to be using, and you should be using them to help you out if you have the opportunity to do so for sure. Now, I wanted to show you crowd control. We did it without mags of holding, and I wanted to show you with mags of holding, and you can see the carnage here. It is definitely a viable option for sure. So the last thing we had to do was visit Zhorde, the Guardian of the Arches, because, you know, we had to engage. I was curious today and intrigued by running this weapon suggestion. Again, thank you so much. I really did have tons of fun recording this video today for you all. It was awesome to see, for sure. Lots of fun. I love using weapons that I've enjoyed, and I certainly enjoy doing your viewer suggestions. Tons and tons of fun for sure. So thank you. So George is here being super aggressive. I also noticed the storm was fast approaching, and I wanted to finish off George before I headed out of Tier 3. I was bound and determined to kind of finish off George using the BP50 with the aftermarket conversion kit for sure, to show you guys how viable this is, you know, just to be using inside of Tier 3 with a standard HVT, just to show you how viable it is for sure. But you can see the struggle I had constantly this run, I'm not going to lie, was ammo on the BP50. I was constantly have to rerunning over the zombie drops to grab ammo so that I can constantly have ammo inside of the BP50. Let me know if you guys have noticed the ammo being a bit of an issue. I was concerned about the storm right there, but I wanted to finish off George like I told you guys. This was something I wanted to show you guys. I left a Mega Abomination in my last video, and I was not pleased about that. If I'm going to engage in a Mega Abomination fight, I like to finish the fight. I'm not one to run away. But I was out of time. The storm was at my back. I had one more circuit turret in me, or circuit turret board in my backpack. So I figured, let's take advantage of that. We'll throw that in that circuit turret. Hopefully we can get George to track up here to the circuit turret, and the circuit turret can finish him off before I have to push out of Tier 3 and get to the exfil. I really wanted to show you guys just a nice tip for you if you're in Tier 3. These circuit turrets are crazy OP for sure. I mean, they just absolutely melt just about everything. You can see the circuit turret is now firing up into George. He's behind me right now. I had to go into the gas. There's nowhere to go. The storm's pushing. You can see the circuit turret is just laying into George right there, and it finishes him off pretty quickly. But you can see, like, George got beefed up from the storm hitting him, and holy smokes, even with that circuit turret going after him, it took a hot minute for that circuit turret to mow him down. But George, the Guardian of the Arches, got finished off today by the circuit turret. We got an epic tool of the deal, which was not bad at all, and it was time now to head off to exfil, as I was already deep in the gas and concerned about whether or not I'd be able to make it over to exfil for sure. Thank goodness this Dark Ether Terror was here inside of Tier 3 for me to take off to. We jumped in it, and even though I was in the air parachuting, I was still concerned about my exfil. As you can see, I was heading towards the exfil, and I wasn't sure if I was even outpacing the storm, because I had such you know, the storm had such a head start on me towards the exfil. I was really concerned at this point. My heart was racing. I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it to exfil, continue to push out. I started to feel a lot better here as my parachute got me outside of the storm for sure. So that made me feel a little bit more at ease. And then when I got to the helicopter, the storm consumed me right before I called in the helicopter. So I had to deal with exfilling inside of the storm, inside of the last, 5 minutes of my match inside of Modern Warfare 3 Zombies for this run. It was just the most intense, the most stress-filled exfil I've ever been a part of. Wanting to show you guys, you know, the finished fight with George, the Guardian of the Arches, and then pushing through to the exfil very, very, very late in my match for sure. I started putting in some critical shots into the Mangler and noticed that it was not really even doing much damage. So at this point, it was time to get a decoy out, get into the exfil chopper, and get the heck out of Dodge. You can see just how much stronger that Mangler is inside of the storm at the exfil. Absolutely insane. Truly an awesome run. Thank you so very much for the weapon suggestion. It was an absolute joy to run this weapon today. Now, at the end of the video, like I always do, I'm going to be showing you guys the weapon build I used for the run today. So if you guys want to work together down in the comments section to make any changes to the build I used so that we all have an amazing build on the BP50 to use inside of our Modern Warfare 3 Zombies games, that would be amazing. Let's all do that together in the comment section. So you can see the build here that I used for the run today, and the Jak Revenger kit. I probably pronounced that wrong for the entire video. Amazing. So this is what the aftermarket conversion kit does to your weapon. These are the pros, these are the cons. And if you're wondering about the camo I used on the run run today. It is inside your weapon prestige, and it is the 150,000 one trick camo that I used. And people were asking me about the blueprints that I used, so I wanted to show you guys that as well. So there's just no, you know, you guys know everything that I was doing. So the blueprint I used today was this one right here, the Paralyzer. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.